right? So we had our little break. We're gonna have one after the show, okay? All right? Yeah? Okay. Hey! Okay, all right. Hi, everyone. The dogs are pestering me. I think it's because it's snowing out. It's not a lot of snow. It's like big flakes coming down very softly here in Peabody, Massachusetts. But I love snow, so any kind will do for me. I actually had a beautiful quote that I read this morning from Robert Louis Stevenson. It says, "And tree and house and hill and lake are frosted like a wedding cake." Isn't that cute? And tree and house and hill and lake are frosted like a wedding cake. I think that's one I'm going to remember. How is everybody this morning? Good morning. Hi, Guadalupe. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Marissa. How you feeling, Marissa? Hi, Roslyn. Susan. Dave, how are you? Happy Tuesday. Yes, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, January 5th. And of our new year, we've turned our perpetual calendar, to January 5th. Do you like this perpetual calendar? We did that last week on New Year's Day. If you didn't get to see it, go back on the YouTube videos and find it because it was really fun. Listen, so today we're going to start our Valentine's Day, or what I like to think of as like our love fest. Okay. That sounds kind of silly, but I think a lot of emphasis is placed on Valentine's Day and that very romantic, Valentine's Day. But, I used to always kind of, I don't really like Valentine's Day until I started looking at it as a way to say to the people in my life, not the romantic, people in my life, but rather people like my family and my son and my friends and people who I work with, that I love them and that I really appreciate who they are. So that's what I look at as Valentine's Day. So, hey, stop that. Sorry, I'm yelling at my dog. So I'd like to think of Valentine's Day as a season and not just one day. And I wanted to start doing some Valentine's or Love Day or Love Season projects with you starting now. So we can do that for the next 5 or 6 weeks now until Valentine's Day. And then, and I'll pepper in some other projects as well. But I think the focus is going to be on love, which is a great thing. And so I hope you don't mind me, indulge me this, okay? Really, Shelley? So here is a card that it has been around for a little while. And I have been doing this card for over a year now. I really love this card. Yes, it is in Design Space and it's free if you have an Access subscription. You do need to make some adjustments to the card. Hold on, I got to get the dog. Will you stop, please? Don't bite that. Don't bite that. Don't. Go away. Oh my goodness, he's really rambunctious today. Okay, so this is a free card. And yes, it is one from one of our favorite designers named Rob and Bob. If you're brand new, you maybe don't know what this is, but I'm going to show you. And it's a great card to make, maybe even for a wedding or just to send to somebody, just to cheer them up. Card making is so important during this pandemic. And I hope it makes a resurgence because I've always loved card making. So anyway, this card is a 3-layered card and it can be modified to do on the joy. You wouldn't be able to cut out the backs, but you could cut out the front. You'd have to change the size up a little bit, but that's okay. You could do that. And this has all kinds of writing on it. And you see that nice that nice reflective surface. That's party foil. I did party foil on there. And that is fun. It's, you know what? It's not Teddy Bear. It's Benji for some reason. He is in my, I really need to move my space. But anyway, that's off topic. But so this is a party foil, and there's a lot of pen work on this card. So it's a lot of fun. I'm going to just kind of jump into it. There is also actually two cards. There's another card that's similar to this that I'll probably do separately, but it's kind of like the same idea. I love party foil. You guys know that. And we have, if you get mystery boxes, you get a lot of party foil. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. I also want to talk about the pens because I switched up the pens, and honestly, I like the one that it suggests, which is this is the black pen. But I did try it out in, I don't know if you can see this, but this is a black glitter pen, and this is a gold pen, gold glitter, which I kind of don't think works for this card, but maybe some people. All right, so let me show you where to find it, what you have to do, and then we'll cut it out and put it together. There are a few steps that I want to place some special emphasis on. Okay, so before I get started, let's just say hello to everyone. Yes, party foil comes in mystery boxes. So if you have been able to catch those mystery boxes the last couple of times, you might have a few rolls of party foil. And I would love to see you try it with different colors. Today, actually, instead of using the party pink, I'm going to try this light pink. I have both. And when you're looking at party foil, it actually comes two different kinds here. It comes with like a chrome kind and this holographic sparkle kind. So I'm going to show you a few tricks I know about working with party foil too, especially with cards. Okay, so let's find this card. It is in Design Space. Yes, it is. So you would go to, let me move this one over. It's 3 pieces. So here we've got this inside piece, which you could put a sentiment in. I can talk about that, but it's not going to be the emphasis today. And then there's this front piece that has both scoring and all of this wonderful pen work. And then there's this middle piece. That's the one that I'm swapping out from paper to party foil. So let me show you where to find this. I keep saying that. All right. I'm just going to group this together. Whoops. And I think I already did that. All right. I'm a little verklempt today. I don't know. Okay. All right. So let's go over to images, which is up here on the left-hand side. Remember I told you could find things using, the image. This is the general search image section, which you can just type in a word, whatever the word is. But I will guarantee you that if you type in the word love, you're going to get an awful lot of images come back to you. There's over 170,000 images in Design Space, and love is featured in a lot of these. So let's do this. Let's go to an image set. And that is over here, which says image sets. Now, as I mentioned, these come from this particular card, and the other one I'm going to show you comes from a designer studio called Rob and Bob Studios. Okay, so we just need to put in Rob or Bob. You don't have to put in Rob and Bob, but by typing in Rob, you'll return 11 image sets that are for Cricut Access. I want to point out that there is one image set here that is not part of Access. That's these infusible ink designs. Don't know what that's all about, but we're going to go to our favorite, which is the best of Rob and Bob right here. Drink a little bit of water. Okay, so the Best of Rob and Bob has a great collection of images and lots of Christmas cards, Halloween cards, things that are just kind of fun to make. There's actually even calendars, and I want to show you sometime in the future how you can update these calendars if you wanted to. So moving all the way down, there's some pretty funky little things in here, Halloween, and there's even some, like, look at this, congratulations, really cute. So there are 2 cards, as I mentioned, and there's also a wreath, which we're going to do. And let me find them. So there's a lot of Valentine's cards, but these 2, here is one. It's just, I don't even know what it's called. Let's see what it's called. Love Arrows card. So that would have come up on the love search. But then the one that we're looking for, I call it the Forever Love card. Love Doodles. They call it Love Doodles. So let's pull those 2 in to our design space. Now you notice they come in really small, and they do not have envelopes, so we don't have to talk about how I don't like envelopes. So they come in really small. If you were to cut them at this size, they would be incredibly small. So I would not recommend doing that. Even if you were going to cut these on the Joy, you'd have to make them a little bit bigger. So that's just kind of, so you know, you don't have to cut, and in fact, I don't recommend you cut things all the time that come in sized, the way that they're sized. So in this particular case, I am going to resize these to be what is called a 5x7 card, or I think it's an A7, card, and that's this size. It's 5 inches this way and 7 inches down, but when you're cutting it out, you need to be aware that you need to cut out the back. So in actuality, it becomes 10 inches wide, 7 inches down. So when you are resizing, and you do that using these arrows or up here in the width, in the width, height area, right? So what we're going to do in this case is going to be wide by 10 inches, which we can just type in the 10 if we want to. And you'll notice that the height automatically switches to 7. I know it looks pretty big on the screen, but it's actually going to come out looking like this. Okay. And same with this one. If we wanted to make this a 5x7 inch card, we'd have to change the width to 10. Now let's unpack these cards so you can see what they're all about. I know I did just show that, but it's a front piece that has both the scoring and writing, and then there's this middle piece, and then there's the inside piece. Now, if you wanted to put a sentiment, this is where you would put the sentiment, as long as you're using solid paper. Now, some people like to use patterned paper, and if you are going to use patterned paper, make sure that the pattern is facing your mat so that you can put the sentiment here, and it will be white or whatever that solid color is on the other side of the patterned paper. And if you're looking for sentiments, you can always go to images and find them. You can either do a search for Valentine sentiments, if that's what you want to use this for, or you can go to Anna Griffin. She has a lot of sentiments, or you can just type in sentiment and put it in there to your card. So let's see, sentiments. You're going to get, oh, did I spell it wrong? Sentiments. I think I forgot a T. Okay. So if you type in sentiments, you'll get 6,651 results. You're going to look for, if you want to put it on the inside of your card, you're probably going to want to look for something that is in a drawn image, like such as this. You are a blessing from heaven. I can tell by your smiles, or here's some that I know I love you, right? So you're just going to choose one, pull it in. And once you do that, you just need to attach it. So I'm going to choose I love you. I'm going to size it to be whatever size I want. And then I have to select the entire piece of the card with the sentiment. So this card is just a blank card with a score line here, but I want to put the I love you sentiment, which is drawn on the card. And to do that, we have to hit attach. Attach is at the bottom here. It's a paper clip. And by doing that, it now attaches the sentiment to the inside. If you do not do this, you will have the sentiment writing on nothing, basically on a blank mat, okay? So that's how you do the sentiments. Now, let's cut this out. And I want to talk about both the scoring and the writing and also the party foil. But I want to make sure I get rid of some of this other stuff first so that we have a nice clean canvas that we're working on. All right, let's see. Ignore. Let's see. Do we have just our images? We have, this one's not. Okay, so we have 3 pieces here. And what we're going to need is 2 sheets of 8.5 by 11 inch paper and then some party foil. Really, it's only like about 5 by 7 inch sheet, but I cut it. I want to talk about how I cut it so that it's easier, because once you open up party foil, it sort of expands. It's like worms in a jar, right? In a can. So you kind of have to take hold of it if you don't want it everywhere. And it can get everywhere, and it's really can be a little annoying to some. So let me show you how to do that. So let us go ahead and hit wait. I am actually making an adjustment here to the drawing. For some reason, the drawing was showing up with the question mark. But okay, so here we go. So here are our 3 mats. 1, 2, 3. Now, you know me, I like to cut things out in 2s, and that's so that I won't waste paper or material. So by cutting in 2s, it would actually cut out 2 of these in party foil. So to do that, you just hit the 2 under projects and see what happens is it will save, it will make 2 cuts out here in the party foil, but then it will put your card on an individual mat. So even if you didn't want to cut out 2 cards right away, this is what I would suggest, just because it uses up a good amount of your product. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this party foil. You'll notice when it comes, I opened a new thing. It comes with a little piece of tape underneath the label. And what I like to do is either try to save this tape or use leftover tape or masking tape when I want to re-roll it up. So I know that it has a lot of product there. So I'm going to just save this little piece of tape. And then what I'm going to do is, you'll see when you roll it out, it has 2 sheets. It has a chrome and it has this holographic sparkle foil to it. So what I do is I continue to hold the roll like this. I try not to have it come out, and I'm just going to eyeball where I want to cut it. Let me grab my scissors, and I'm just going to, now normally, you know, I like to cut things with my personal trimmer, but I'm just going to eyeball it because I do not want this party foil to get the better of me. So here we go. I'm just taking off that sheet, and I'm still holding the roll, and I'm going to close it up and try to find my piece of tape. And if I can't find my tape, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my tape that I have left over from my foil project and close it up like this. So that way, whoop, it's staying together. And that's a good way to handle party foil so it doesn't all unravel on you. Okay, so here's what you got. Party foil. It's like a little piece, and it's certainly going to cover our mat. I want to show you how I put it on the mat. So I'm just going to use a regular mat. I try to use a fairly sticky mat because party foil does like a sticky mat. It does lift when it's cutting. So what I like to do is use a really sticky mat, which I've done here, but then I also like to take my masking tape, or again, I could use my foil transfer tape, whatever works for you. You can use washi tape or whatever, just a low tack tape. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm putting the tape on pretty tautly onto my mat. Hold on, let me just show you. So like this, and I think I might want to put a couple of pieces on the left and right hand side as well. Now, why do we do this? First of all, we don't want the material to move around on the mat. And some materials just need to be taped down. And the second thing is that because this is a very not very pliable material, by holding it closer to the mat, you're going to get a better cut. Okay, so here I go, and it might seem like a little bit of work, and it kind of is, but the results are really nice. So let's go ahead and continue. I'm just putting my last piece of tape on there. So I've got that really well attached to the mat. I'm going to choose as a base material, I'm going to choose party foil. And if you are having trouble finding it, go to browse all materials and you can just type in party like that and it will come up, party foil. I also have it starred as a favorite. So that is because it is a favorite of mine, but make sure you check it. Now, if you have an Explorer, you would find this by turning your dial to the 9 o'clock setting, and then you can find it using Browse All Materials. But if you have a Maker, it's just Browse All Materials, and you look it up by party. Okay, so I'm going to do the party foil page first. I'm going to show you, I'm going to move you a little bit, okay? So here is my work surface. There's my Maker. It's getting ready. It's got the blinking light there. And we're going to take our well-secured party foil and put it into the machine. And by the way, if you have a Joy, Joy does also do party foil, and I would definitely also recommend that you secure it with tape because the Joy mats also I don't think are sticky enough to get it. So I'm just kind of securing it down, and then I am going to hit go with the blinking C. Okay, now this part of the card does not require a scoring tool or writing. We're going to do that next. So let me talk to you a little bit about the writing. So this card, it shows as a black writing, and I just thought I would try out some different colors, and in the end, I ended up enjoying the black one the best. But if you have something, I think everybody has that black pen, but if you don't have one, I've had some of these black pens for years. They last a really long time. So if you don't have one, though, you can always use the, let's see, this is a glitter black gel tip 08, and this is a glitter tip glitter gold. Okay, now one of the things that I would mention about glitter tips, so this is the gel glitter tip. I'm trying to get it to, there it is. Okay, it's like a little roly ball. And first of all, if you have gel pens, try to store them flat like this so that the ink is going to always roll and it's not going to pool at the tip. That's really important. And then before you put it in your machine, make sure you test it and do it as straight up as you can when you're testing it. I know the normal way to write with a pen is sort of on a slant, but remember in the machines they're put in this way, so it's very important to know that that ball is moving around properly, because then you'll get the best ink distribution. Okay, that's not necessarily the case with these pens. And what I do with these pens is I store them with the cap down. Okay. And the reason why I do that is, a pen has the ink here in the barrel, and then this is what the tip of a regular pen looks like. Whoa, let me see if I can get it. Come on, there it is. It's just like a really fine point pen. It's not a marker, it's a fine point pen, and store it with the cap side down. And even if you do it here, I'm not actually showing it correctly over here on my machine. The caps are up. I shouldn't do that, but I do store all of the other ones this way, and that's to keep the ink flowing to the tip. So gel sideways, pens and markers cap side down. Okay, so let's see. So we've had no problems with our party foil. It's cutting great because we've taped it down. It's actually almost done cutting, and we'll go on to do the next step, which is we'll do the writing part, so I have my I have my red and my white paper. And again, you don't have to do it this way. You can try different things. If you wanted to change it to pink or I don't know, blue, whatever you wanted to do, you can certainly do that. And I've seen people take those kinds of liberties, and I think that's great, because that's what makes the projects, even though the projects, a lot of people do the same project, you make it personalized. And that's the wonderful thing about Cricut, is that you can personalize any of the projects to make it your own, whether it's putting in a sentiment or choosing a particular piece of material or a particular pen. You are making it your own. Okay, so guess what? Our party foil is almost done. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to show you what we need to do for writing with the pen. Now, writing with the pen, yay, it's almost done. It's almost done. So writing with the pen, I'm going to move you here. And when you have a score, so you have to switch some things out. And somebody asked me about scoring with the stylus. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're scoring and you have an Explore machine, your only choice is to use the scoring stylus. And that sometimes can be a little frustrating. Here, by the way, is our party foil all done up. We're going to just pull off the tape. And in this case, my tape got a little bit done here. I'm going to go back to that, okay? So when you're scoring for your Explore, you have to use your scoring stylus. And when I use my maker, which is what I'm using today, I have the choice of using a scoring wheel. But because there's not a lot of scoring with this, I like to change my tool to the scoring stylus. This is just a personal preference. People have said, what do we do about getting that scoring to be deeper because the scoring stylus doesn't have the extra pressure or the extra, force that is available with the scoring wheel. Well, you can trick out the system to do that. And so first of all, let me go ahead and start doing this page, which is the one that has a lot of the writing on it. That's the front part. I'm going to change the base material to medium cardstock, okay? And then here, I'm going to change the tools to scoring stylus. So when I click on tools, and again, this you'll only see if you have a maker. But if you want to switch out from the scoring wheel to the stylus, you do have to click on your tools, and then you would choose scoring stylus right here and apply. And then all of a sudden now you see that the scoring stylus is here, and then here's our fine point blade, which stays in the housing of clamp B, and then it says coming up black 0.4 pen. So we're going to go ahead. And what did I do with okay, here we go. So we're going to take this white, right? And we're going to put it in my machine. I know I'm not showing it, but I'm going to take my scoring stylus and I'm putting it in to clamp A. This is clamp A. Okay, and this is clamp B. Now, if you have a scoring wheel, you would take and open up this clamp, take out this housing, and put the scoring wheel in. But we're not going to do that today. So we are going to leave that clamp alone. So instead, we're going to take this, the scoring style. So you see it has a little arrow right here. You're going to put it into the clamp, which is open. You're going to hold down the bottom of the clamp and make sure it clicks in. So I mean, this is not a lot of pressure, but it's clicked in, and then close it. And then what we hit is go, and it will start doing scoring first. Always does scoring first. And then it's going to ask me, once the scoring is done, it's going to ask me for the pen. So I have to swap out the stylus and put in the pen. And again, I would like to use this black pen, 0.04. And I'm going to open up my clamp and take out my stylus, put in my pen, hold the bottom, click it in, close it, and then hit go. Now, at this point, you have a score on your card, and it's not a very deep score, that's true, but I'm going to show you that after all the writing is done and then the cutting happens at the end, instead of removing my my card that's complete, I'm going to actually hit the C, which won't be blinking, okay? Yep, you could stack 2 scoring lines onto it as well. It would work that way. But so there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can either insert a second scoring line at the very same place that your other scoring line is, and do that on, on Design Space. Maybe I'm getting a cold, I don't know. But you can do that on Design Space, or you can trick it out a little bit by go ahead and put in your paper, do the scoring, do the writing, do the cutting, and then replace the score stylus and hit go again, and then stop it after it does, stop it after it does the scoring, if that makes sense. So there are 2 ways to trick it out and make it better. But I have asked multiple times if they could change it, and they said it's an issue of the pressure on the clamp, because this clamp, as you can see, does not have those little cogs that we use with the adaptable tool system, and that is how they control the pressure of the clamp, okay? So even though maybe they'll come up with something in the future, right now, nope. This we have to choose instead, either to trick it out by doubling up the scoring lines, which you could easily do, or by sort of tricking it into a second time through. Okay? Thank you for all the bless yous. I appreciate it. It's just part of doing something live. I was thinking about that earlier today, is that it's so much easier to do a recorded video because then you can always turn it off if you're, your dog barks or you have to sneeze or whatever the case may be. So our machine is actually done with the writing. You can see the writing on there. I'm actually, while the machine's on, I'm going to take out the pen just so I don't forget this part, and I'm going to put in my stylus. How many of you actually put these things in as your machine is working? I don't know. I do. Anyway, so now it's doing the cutting. So remember, it always goes in that order. Scoring first, then writing, or in the case of the foil, scoring first, then foil, and then cutting. So cutting's always last. Scoring, writing or foil, and then cutting, okay? And it's almost done with the cutting. So while we're waiting for that to finish up cutting, I just want to show you, this is the mat that we did the party foil on. And let me just, I should take the tape off. And I have reused, by the way, this tape many times. And it works out really, really, really well to reuse that foil transfer tape. So let's let this finish up. It's almost done. And then before we take it out of the machine, and this works for anything, if perhaps you want to recut, like you can see from your cut, before you take out your mat from your machine, that's the important part, because it's positioned just so in there, right? So we do not want to take our mat out and recut it, but we can keep the mat in there and have it go through the process of the mat once again, which is what we're going to let it do once it's done. Before I forget, I'm going to tell you that we're going to be starting a promotion this week for a mini Easy Press Mini. Okay, so an Easy Press Mini, which is a $70 retail price product from Cricut, which is, it's a great little tool. I'm going to be giving one away to the watchers, and I especially want to increase, for my goal for this particular one. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to, all right, so here we go. It's done. All right. Instead of taking it out of the machine, we're going to hit this the middle button, the C with the little antennae again. Now remember, because it does it in order of scoring, writing, and cutting, then that way it is going to, and it's saying to load the scoring stylus, which I've done. It's going to score it twice, okay? So, right, getting back to the Easy Press, I'm trying to come up with a way. Here's what I wanted to accomplish. And now, because I'm done, I'm just going to take it out. So it gives me a second score line here just by sort of running it through a second time, okay? which, let me take it off of this. I think I have to change my, I think I'm going to have to change my blade here, because it didn't cut all the way through here, which is rather disappointing, but it was cutting just fine earlier today. So, okay. So that is how you cut this thing out. Let me show you how to put this together. Super simple, but there are a few tricks that I want to show you. So here we'll do it with this one. Here's the pink that we did. But so here is our outside piece. There is our foil piece inside, and this is our inside piece, which doesn't have a sentiment, but you could put it on there, remember? So I'm just going to fold at the score lines. Yeah, I definitely need to replace my blade. It just sort of just happened. A lot of times people ask, how do you know when to replace your blades? I say it's usually two things. First of all, you don't need to change the blade all that often, but you do need to change it. And some people have advocated using foil to sharpen their blade. The thing is about that is that the blades are made with carbide, German carbide, and you can sharpen it a little bit, but you really can't sharpen it all that much. So eventually you do need to replace the blade. Now I use and give my machine a total workout. So I have to replace my blades about once a month. And so that's for me. Now, if you don't use your machine like for hours on end every day, you can probably get a lot more wear out of it. Also, I cut a lot of special materials such as this and glitter cardstock, and that will tend to wear your blade down a little bit. So it's not about like, oh, every month I'm going to change my blade. If you're cutting a lot of vinyl, for instance, it's not nearly as harsh on your blade as if you were cutting out with things like this, okay? All right, so we got 3 pieces here. I'm going to use regular glue. This is the glue that I've been using. It's called Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. The other glue that I use is Art Glitter Glue, which you could certainly use for this application. In fact, maybe I will. And what you need to do with this glue for party foil, remember party foil is not porous, so what we're going to have to do is use a little more than we normally use, but not so much that it's going to come squeezing out of all of the little cuts, because then it will look yucky. So I am going to use a little more than I usually use here. Normally I just tell you put a little tiny bit on there, but in this case, because party foil is not really porous, you do need a little extra going in there. And make sure you get in between all of these pieces that are your letters, because they will sort of stick out if you don't. And you don't have to put a lot there, because then you can risk it sort of pouring out. But I do use a little extra on there. And then I take my party foil and I turn it over like this. And then I'm just going to match it up with the cuts on the front of the card. There we go. There we go. So you see how it kind of like the white part we don't want to show through with the party foil. So I'm just moving it ever so slightly. That's what I like about liquid glue. I am not a big hot glue fan, as most people who have watched me know. I do use my hot glue gun, but I don't use it a whole lot. I really just use it for like 3D things like flowers. Okay, So there is that. Now, it still has to dry. And remember, it can only dry on that one side. So don't go picking it apart, you know. And then we're going to take our inside piece and we're going to do the same thing. A little extra glue there. Don't have to be nearly as precise with this piece because there's fewer cuts on it, right? But you want it to hold in there. And then we take and we line it up with the front back, okay? And we have to line up the score right here. Now you'll notice that I am not gluing the back part in. You do not want to glue the back of your cards if you have like more than one back, because it causes problems with folding, and when the glue dries makes it a little bit difficult opening and closing, okay? So here is our completed card, and I'm going to get real close so you can see. I used the Party Pink. This is Party Pink glitter, like sort of the holographic sparkle. And then you'll see where the cutout comes from the red. So in here, it's actually, you got the Party Pink and the red. And I love Party Pink with red. I think it just looks good. And I like the contrast of the black. But you can, again, choose whatever it is that you want to do. And this is just a really fun card. And it's part of our Love Fest. The start of our Love Fest. And let's see. That's going to do it for today. But definitely stick around just for a second more as I tell you that we are going to have a giveaway, as I mentioned, for a Cricut Easy Press Mini. This is a mini, like a mini Easy Press that's really useful for small areas or for as a companion product to your regular Easy Press. It's a $70 retail value, and what I'm trying to accomplish with that this giveaway is I want more people to know about me. And so in order to do that, I'm going to post a small video to explain what we try to do and also what I'm giving away. And I'm going to ask people to share the video so that I can get more people who sign up by following me either on my Facebook page or my YouTube page. So later on, I'm going to be posting a video, and it's going to be to ask people to share the video so that I can hopefully increase my followers. And that's the important thing. Now, you know, I hear people talking about, you know, credit and things like that. Numbers really aren't super important to me, and getting credit for a sale it does help me. It's not a huge thing if you can't use it, but I would love it if you did use it. And I will put, and I do generally put a link to using Cricut.com, and there's a link and then there's a code. There's a difference between a link and a code. The link is what gives me the credit. The code is what gives you the 10% off. Okay, just so you know. Let's see. And that does help me. I mean, it's not like a ton of money, but it's helpful. So I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. I hope you try out this card, the first one in our Love Day or our Love Festival. Let's call it that, a Love Festival. So it's the first one in our little Love Festival. And then what we'll do, let's see, tomorrow we're going to be working on the Joy. And we're going to be making some really cute, they're like mix and match Valentine's Day cards. And I call them mix and match because this is one that you're going to want to do with your littles. So if you have a little that say has a Valentine's exchange. These are really cute. Not to say adults can't use them too, but I want to show you. It's from a cartridge that is very old, but I love it, and it has some really fun sort of mix and match. No glue is used, and you can definitely cut them on the Joy. So stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll see you all again. If you have any problems, give me a jingle, and you can always email me at missritatotherescue@gmail.com. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.